Episode 55, Love Part 3, The Interdependence Theory. Hello and welcome to Dumi's Daily Grind. My name is Dumi and thank you for joining me today. I have created this channel to share my life experiences, inspirations I found from others, learnings I have earned, and things I have been taught throughout various periods of my life, especially the ones related to sobriety, finding serenity, and general mental health topics with spiritual growth at the forefront. Please subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and please support the channel by becoming a Patreon. The link is available below. In this series of 3 episodes, I am looking at love and relationships, specifically around the theories based on scientific and psychological perspectives around why we love, how we love, and our beliefs around the topic of love. This is the 3rd episode in the series, and if you missed the first 2, please watch them. There I talk about the attachment theory, which is episode day number 53, and the evolutionary theory, episode day number 54. These episodes are based on scientific theories I have become aware of thanks to the lecture named The Science of Love from the Great Courses series of lectures about the understanding of human relationships and how scientists have done research and have come up with various theories about how we relate with each other, which determines how successful our love relationships are and or are going to be. The decisions-based theory of love is called the Interdependence Theory. Harold Kelly and John Tebow developed interdependence theory. It analyzes the interdependent structure, identifying crucial properties of interactions and relationships, as well as interdependence processes, explaining how structural influences, motivations, and the behavior. It means we have the thoughtful consideration of what is best for us and our partners through the weighing of options and the making of compromises. We have personal choice and responsibility for our own actions, and we believe that how we were parented does not necessarily play a large role in who we choose to be in a relationship with another and how we behave within that specific relationship. This also means that our behaviors within our relationships are not based on evolution or instinct. There is some thought and choice to how we handle ourselves. The last 2 psychological theories focused on the individual and suggest that people behave in certain ways because of their experiences, their personalities, their cognitions, biology, and instinct. Now, this theory, on the other hand, the interdependence theory, explains that people find relationships satisfying up to a certain point. It regards the relationship between people as important as the people involved. What they want for the relationship to be, because close relationships are actually rewarding in many ways, from companionship to help available when needed. It also takes into consideration the psychological and physical intimacy and financial assistance. It is an approach through analyzing social interactions and relationships that focuses on how each person's outcome depends on the actions of others. It is assessed through the allowance of making mistakes and growth from one's experience. Decisions made within these relationships are mostly unpredictable because they are based on each individual's needs within that specific relationship. These scientists believe that these form of relationships um, are life partnerships, not dependent on each other, but rather interdependent on each other. They involve negotiation, they involve compromise, and have a more long term orientation. It is more based on the social exchange theory where working together is utilized to benefit the parties with the ability of making deals to maintain the mutual happiness. These people work together as a psychological unit where one partner's pains and happiness influences the other. To have interdependent relationships, both parties have to give up being selfish and realize the importance of long term versus short term goals and maintain peace. The success of these relationships are based on mutual transformation of motivation by both parties, where the power dynamics are dispersed equally to create that partnership with long term happiness. It is believed that science can be used to predict the outcomes of a couple's success the same way that algebraic problems are solved through using certain behaviors within the specific relationship. What are the power dynamics? Are the rewards fair and they benefit both parties to avoid resentment and whether one party is taking advantage of another? The prediction can also be based on the communication style within the relationship. Can both parties communicate their needs earnestly and effortlessly and address each other's needs? Firstly, relationship stability is based on commitment, the willingness to make sacrifices, honoring each other, and ultimately a healthy emotional attachment. Secondly, one has to look at whether they know what they want and they understand what commitment is and consciously weigh the factors by answering the following questions. What is the relationship satisfaction level through making a list of pros and cons, and what is really good and what is really bad in our current relationship? Then weigh the two using the ratio and do a comparison level. Then subjectively look at what one believes is a good relationship versus what they have currently. Now, based on what you have experienced and what is typical within what you know, your perception here is then used, and you would want to be better than what you think is average according to your subjective view. Interdependence relationship statuses and whether they are meant for long lasting or not should not only be based on biases and illusions, as this will lead to bad decision making. And based on your experience, your view may be skewed about what is good and what isn't. To have a successful relationship, one then has to look at the second factor, which is alternatives. Um, you can have satisfaction within your relationship, but alternatives can interrupt the current relationship. These alternatives are other suitors or the available option of remaining single. One has to look at whether these options are tempting for either of the partners. Some people say there are plenty of fish in the sea, and if your partner is one of those, then do not expect a long lasting commitment as other options are available for them. To eradicate alternatives. Your partner has to believe that you are the best option for them. So take care of the satisfaction side of things and eradicate the alternatives. Well, at least try. It may be almost impossible. The third factor is all about investments. In this lecture, it is said if your partner or you have low satisfaction levels in your relationship and have plenty of alternatives, then you can still be in a successful relationship through this factor of investments. Now, investments may keep you together for longer. This is actually seen within relationships of older persons who have maintained commitment to their partners regardless of satisfaction and infidelity. Mutual investment in material things, emotional ties, children, resources, effort, and joint friendships. If you invest a lot, you would want to stick around versus letting go and starting over with a new person. It is difficult to break up as it may be expensive, it may be time consuming and heartbreaking. For some, it might be better to just stick around and work on the current relationship. Then we have to include emotional investments that include future plans and our general imagined futures. Now, we need to ask ourselves if we do have tangible and intangible investments within our relationships, with tangible investments being physical or material, and or intangible investments being love, effort, and sacrifices. So basically, according to this theory, the equation is satisfaction plus lack of alternatives plus investments equal relationship satisfaction. So you can see why some scientists believe this theory is more realistic than the other two. It may take the evolutionary theory into consideration when it comes to initial attraction and can also encompass attachment relationship theory within it, but it is believed in this theory that choice actually matters the most at the end of the day. So, do we improve on these three factors to have a long lasting and happy relationship? Satisfaction is the most difficult to maintain as it declines as time goes on and we can be maintained through doing things together, focusing on the positive and taking care of the perceived satisfaction ratio. Do new things together, go on an adventure, have reasonable expectations, do not rely on what you see and hear outside of your relationship, and know that challenges are part and parcel of any relationship. Have the appreciation for your partner's capabilities and effort, and do not take them for granted. Have a good sexual relationship and be willing to adapt where necessary with a compromise from both sides and explore what is comfortable for both of you. We need to understand the alternatives that exist around us because the lower the alternatives, the more the commitment, or vice versa. We need to protect ourselves from temptations, remove the plenty of fish in the sea theory, and have deeper understanding of what kind of commitment you are in. The forms of commitment are as follows. Structural commitment, which is based on social terms, religious or spiritual commitment, which is based on moral beliefs such as marriage vows, religious vows, etc., which make one sort of obligated to stay in order to maintain these views, even though there is dissatisfaction within the relationship. The second one is personal commitment, which is based on one's own wanting and needs, based on desire, attraction, having honest feelings for your partner. Now, this is the best type of satisfaction because it is given freely based on what you want versus what society wants, or what your family or what your religious beliefs state. And it's definitely not based on reproductive purposes and the mere survival of our species. Now, emotional connections are really important as well here, and it is found that the more you connect emotionally with your partner, the better the relationship. Are they your best friend? Do you feel your partner is the most important person in your life? And are you fully open and honest with them and able to discuss anything about fear of repercussions? What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe that this is the best way to go? Does this theory make more sense for you? Well, this episode brings me to the end of this three-part series on love relationship theories that scientists have, and more research is being done by them. As you know, science is an ever growing field with constant research being conducted on a daily basis. So, with that said, thank you for your time, your support, and being with me on this journey to finding serenity. If you enjoy listening to me, or if you enjoy watching my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. You can also become a Patreon if you feel like it. The Patreon link is available below. Or you can find me on patreon.com/Dumi's Daily Grind. And you can also catch me on email at dumisdailygrind@gmail.com. If you prefer listening rather than watching, I do have a podcast called Dumi's Daily Grind, which is available on popular podcasts such as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and others. But until I see you next time, stay well and may your higher power shower you with blessings and keep you safe today. Let us be diligent with the work required to achieve our goals and hopefully experience serenity and peace of mind. The answers are always right in front of us and will be revealed if we truly seek them. Let us be present, conscious, and intentional in our lives and grow positively to achieve the happiness that we truly seek. Goodbye for now. I will see you next time. Lots and lots of love.